You do not build a tank to lose. For decades, there is one truth every armored commander believes is unbreakable. The bigger gun wins, the thicker armor survives, and the weaker machine dies first. In Europe, by 1944, this rule feels absolute. German doctrine teaches it. German crews live it. German propaganda broadcasts it. A tank, they say, is a duel. And in a duel, the M4 Sherman is a joke. Its armor is thinner. Its gun is smaller. Its silhouette is tall. German tankers laugh when they see it burning. They nickname it the Ronson, lights on the first hit. Against Panthers and Tigers, the Sherman should not exist for long. This belief hardens into certainty. German commanders write it into their assumptions. Their crews repeat it in letters home. Their aces prove it again and again in head-on engagements. The rule is simple. Shermans die. But in 1944, on the hedgerow roads of France, in the rain-soaked fields of Belgium, and in the frozen forests of Germany, that rule begins to crack. Not because the Sherman becomes stronger, but because Germany realizes, too late, that it misunderstood what war actually rewards. And one American lieutenant, knee-deep in oil, mud, and burned steel, watches that realization spread one wrecked German tank at a time. You are Lieutenant Belton Y. Cooper. 24 years old. Tall. Soft-spoken. An engineer by training, not a gunfighter by choice. You do not command a tank. You keep them alive. In 1943, the Army assigns you to the 3rd Armored Division. Your job is maintenance, recovery, repair. The unglamorous work no one writes headlines about. When tanks break, burn, or bleed oil onto French dirt, you are the man who decides whether they fight again or become scrap. You learn the Sherman intimately. You know every bolt that vibrates loose, every transmission that overheats, every engine that coughs when pushed too hard. You also know something German intelligence does not. The Sherman is not meant to win duels. It is meant to keep moving. By the time you land in Normandy, the strategic stakes could not be higher. The Allies must break out of the beachhead, race across France, and smash Germany before it can stabilize its defenses. Speed matters. Logistics matter. Reliability matters more than raw power. Germany, meanwhile, is running out of time and fuel. Its Panthers are deadly but temperamental. Its Tigers are terrifying but rare. Their final drives shatter. Their engines overheat. Their fuel trucks vanish under Allied air attacks. The Sherman arrives with a different philosophy. Simple. Modular. Mass-produced. When one breaks, another replaces it. And you, Belton Cooper, are about to see how that changes everything. As the division pushes inland, German tank crews wait with confidence. They believe the rule still applies. They believe the Sherman is still a joke. And then the attacks begin. The hedgerows close around you like walls. Visibility drops to 50 yards. Sometimes less. Tanks advance nose to nose, engines screaming, exhaust choking the air. German Panthers lie in wait, hull down, guns already sighted. You hear it before you see it. A sharp crack. A flash. A Sherman erupts in flame. Crew bails out. 2 make it, 1 doesn't. The Germans score first blood. Exactly as expected. Then something strange happens. Another Sherman rolls forward. Then another. And another. They do not pause. They do not retreat. They maneuver. Instead of charging head-on, platoons fan out. Infantry clings to their sides. Smoke blooms across the field. Artillery begins to fall, not precisely but relentlessly. German gunners fire. They hit. And still the Shermans keep coming. You move forward with your recovery teams under fire. Your boots sink into churned mud. The smell of burning fuel coats your throat. You count wrecks. 1 Sherman. 2. 3. Then you count German tanks. 1 Panther disabled, final drive seized. Another abandoned, fuel empty. A third knocked out from the side by a 76mm round fired at point-blank range. The math is wrong. This is not how duels are supposed to work. German crews adjust. They pull back. They reposition. They call for reinforcements. But the Shermans return the next day. And the next. And the next. You watch crews sleep on their tanks. You watch engines swapped in hours, not days. You watch damaged Shermans recovered under fire, repaired overnight, and sent back out by morning. German tanks do not return so easily. A Panther throws a track? It needs a factory part. A Tiger breaks a transmission? It waits, if it isn't bombed first. A fuel shortage hits? It never moves again. Then comes the breakout. Operation Cobra. The sky roars as thousands of bombers pulverize German positions. When the dust settles, Shermans surge through gaps that should not exist. They bypass strong points. They encircle heavy tanks. They force engagements on their terms. A German Tiger ambushes 3 Shermans. It destroys 2. The third smokes, retreats, radios coordinates. Minutes later, artillery slams down. Fighter-bombers dive. Infantry closes in. The Tiger is abandoned, crew fleeing. You inspect it later. The armor is intact. The fuel tanks are empty. The enemy is stunned. Mid-roll, after the realization sets in. If you find this kind of forgotten military history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage, sacrifice, and hard-won lessons deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. Back at the front, German officers begin reporting something unsettling. They are not losing because their tanks are inferior. They are losing because they cannot stop the flow. Every time they knock out a Sherman, 2 more appear. Every roadblock becomes an encirclement. Every delay becomes a collapse. You watch the Ardennes campaign unfold, the Germans' last gamble. At first it works. Shermans burn. Lines bend. Panic spreads. Then the weather clears. Air power returns. Fuel shortages hit again. Shermans keep moving. The German realization is no longer whispered. It is written in after-action reports. The Sherman is not unkillable. It is unexhaustible. And that changes everything. What Germany does not understand at first is that it is not fighting a tank. It is fighting a system. American factories replace losses faster than Germany can count them. Crews rotate. Tactics adapt. Maintenance units, yours, become force multipliers. By late 1944, German commanders avoid tank battles altogether. They know they cannot win wars of attrition anymore. The rule they trusted has betrayed them. The Sherman, once mocked, becomes a symbol of inevitability. Not perfection. Inevitability. The war grinds forward. Bridges fall. Cities collapse. The Reich shrinks. And the realization spreads. Superiority is not about the best machine. It is about the machine that is always there. After the war, you go home. You carry memories no victory parade can erase. You write them down so they are not lost. You remember the crews, the mechanics, the men who fixed broken tanks under fire so others could survive. The Sherman never gets the glory, but it wins the war. Today, decades later, debates still rage about armor thickness and gun caliber. But the men who were there know the truth. Wars are not won by perfect weapons. They are won by weapons that show up, again and again, when everything says they shouldn't. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Belton Y. Cooper and the thousands of Sherman crews who fought across Europe do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.